You are standing at the threshold of the universal shift, a turning of energy that realigns your life with the rhythm of creation itself. As you listen, you'll realize that what others call luck or fate is the universe responding to your inner state. The shift begins the moment you remember who you truly are. The Universal Shift. Introduction. In the beginning, before the memory of ages, there was a sage who dwelled among the clouds, high upon a mountain that touched the stars. Night after night, seekers climbed the winding path in search of answers to life's great mysteries. Yet the sage spoke few words. Instead, with eyes reflecting the constellations, he would gesture to the heavens and whisper, "Listen. The universe is speaking." For beyond sound and form, there exists a rhythm, the pulse of creation itself, where intention and manifestation dance as one. When you attune yourself to this sacred current, what once seemed coincidence becomes revelation. You begin to see that the universe has never been silent. It has only been waiting for you to remember how to hear. Within you lies an ancient compass, a quiet knowing that has always pointed toward your highest good. It does not teach, it reminds. Like a river finding its way to the ocean, your soul is forever drawn toward expansion when you release the resistance, born of forgetting your divine origin. The law of attraction is not merely a tool for desire, but the living breath of the cosmos, the unseen harmony that connects thought to form and feeling to reality. There is no separation between your inner and outer worlds. They are twin reflections of one infinite consciousness. And when the mind grows still, you will notice the signs that have always surrounded you, a name repeated in the wind, a number that returns again and again, a chance meeting that alters the course of your life. These are not accidents. They are the universe's way of reminding you that you are part of its grand design. Your arrival here in this moment is no coincidence. The wisdom of the universal shift has been waiting patiently for your recognition, waiting for the precise instant your soul was ready to awaken. You have not found these words by chance. You have remembered your way back to them. As your awareness expands, you will come to see the truth that was always so. The universe has been conspiring in your favor since the dawn of your existence. And as you listen, the shift begins, a gentle turning of energy that aligns you once more with the rhythm of creation itself. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Part 1. The Awakening Light. Chapter 1. The Whisper That Started Everything. In a sunlit valley beneath ancient mountains, there lived an artist named Hazel, who spent her days painting the whispers of her heart. Each morning, she would sit at her easel, brush poised above canvas, waiting for inspiration to guide her hand. Yet doubt often clouded her vision, making her question whether the images flowing through her mind held any meaning beyond mere fancy. One dawn, as golden light spilled through her window, Hazel noticed how the morning dew had arranged itself in perfect spirals across her garden. Something within her stirred, a recognition that even nature moved in patterns of profound significance. She began to paint, allowing her brush to follow an unseen current rather than her usual careful planning. When she stepped back, the painting revealed a path she had never seen before, yet somehow knew intimately. It was then she understood. Her creative impulses were not random musings, but messages carried on the breath of the universe itself. The wisdom of creation speaks through the language of intuition. Each subtle nudge, each persistent thought, each unexpected vision that visits your consciousness arrives as an invitation to align with your highest path. These are not mere coincidences, but cosmic coordinates guiding you toward your authentic expression. When you quiet the mind's constant chatter, you begin to recognize the difference between the voice of fear and the whisper of truth. Fear speaks in urgent demands and harsh criticism. Truth resonates with peaceful certainty, even when its guidance challenges your comfortable patterns. The universe communicates through the currency of feeling, through the weight of knowing that settles in your heart before your mind can form the question. This is the law of resonance. As you clarify your inner vision, external reality begins to mirror your deepest truth with increasing precision. In a distant city lived a young woman named Maya, who painted pebbles with intricate designs. One evening, following an inexplicable urge, she placed one of her painted stones on her windowsill. Days passed, and a wandering art collector noticed the stone's unique pattern from the street below. Their chance meeting blossomed into a friendship that eventually led to Maya's first gallery showing. This simple act of following her intuition, placing the stone where it could be seen, shifted the frequency of her existence. By honoring the subtle prompt of her inner knowing, she aligned herself with possibilities that her logical mind could never have orchestrated. Your life speaks to you in precisely this way. Each moment carries the potential for alignment, each impulse an opportunity to step into greater harmony with your path. The universe does not demand grand gestures. It invites you to begin with small acts of trust. As the ancient wisdom keepers knew, the practice of attunement is both simple and sacred. Each evening, as the day releases its hold, breathe deeply 3 times and speak these words: "Show me what wants to be seen." In the space that follows, welcome whatever arises, a memory, an image, a gentle nudge. This is the beginning of your dialogue with the infinite, the first thread in the tapestry of your conscious creation. Chapter 2. The Mirror of Thought. In a small village among rolling hills, Lyle tended his bakery with skilled hands but a worried heart. Each night he would count his remaining flour and fret about tomorrow's bread. "What if there isn't enough?" became the whispered mantra that echoed through his kitchen. Day after day, his shelves stood half empty, mirroring the scarcity that consumed his thoughts. The universe responds to your vibration with unwavering precision. Like attracts like. This is not merely a saying, but a fundamental law that governs all creation. Your thoughts emit electrical signals, while your emotions generate magnetic fields. Together, they weave the fabric of your experience, drawing to you circumstances that match their combined frequency. When you dwell in thoughts of lack, you create an energetic blueprint of insufficiency. Your emotional response to these thoughts, the anxiety, the fear, the doubt, magnetically pulls matching experiences into your physical reality. This is why worry begets more reasons to worry, while faith attracts evidence of abundance. Think of your mind as a garden and your thoughts as seeds. Each thought you water with emotion grows into experience. The universe doesn't distinguish between what you want and what you fear. It simply responds to what you consistently think and feel about. The power lies in understanding that this same law works in reverse. When you consciously shift your thoughts and align them with emotions of gratitude and expectancy, you create a new blueprint that the universe must honor. In the same village lived another baker named Thomas. His tiny shop had once struggled like Lyle's, until he discovered an ancient scroll that spoke of the power of transformed thought. Each morning, as he lit his ovens, he would speak aloud, "What if today brings more abundance than I can imagine?" He felt the warmth of possibility in his heart as he kneaded his dough. Within a moon cycle, Thomas noticed more customers appearing at his door. His shelves, once sparsely filled, now required constant restocking. The village children began calling his shop the House of Sweet Miracles, for it seemed that whenever anyone needed bread, there was always plenty to share. The transformation you witnessed in Thomas's tale reflects the precise mechanism of universal law. By consciously redirecting his thoughts from scarcity to abundance and infusing them with the emotion of joyful expectation, he created a new energetic pattern that reality had to match. Your power to reshape your circumstances lies in this same principle. Each worry that crosses your mind is an opportunity to pivot toward its opposite desire. When you speak that desire aloud, you engage both the electrical force of thought and the magnetic power of sound vibration. Begin tomorrow with this sacred practice. As the first light breaks across the horizon, notice one worry that weighs upon your heart. Speak its opposite, its highest possibility, aloud with conviction. Feel the truth of your words resonate in your body. This is not mere positive thinking. It is the conscious creation of an electromagnetic field that the universe cannot ignore. Through this practice, you become a conscious co-creator with the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all of existence. Your words, charged with emotional belief, become the very frequencies that shape your tomorrow. Chapter 3. The river isn't in a hurry. By the edge of an ancient forest, where time seemed to move at nature's own pace, lived a gardener named Mabel. Her hands were stained with soil and her heart heavy with impatience. Each morning she would rush to her garden, willing the buds to unfold faster, measuring their growth against her desires rather than their own wisdom. One dawn, as frustration peaked within her, Mabel wandered to a trickling brook that whispered through her land. As she watched the water's unhurried journey over smooth stones, something shifted in her understanding. The brook neither rushed nor delayed. It simply flowed, each droplet arriving precisely when and where it should. The universe operates through divine timing, a sacred architecture of moments that unfolds with perfect precision. When you attempt to force manifestation ahead of its natural rhythm, you create resistance in the very fabric of creation. This resistance stems from a fundamental misunderstanding that your timeline supersedes the infinite wisdom of universal flow. Think of manifestation as a cosmic dance between your desires and the universe's orchestration. Your role is not to lead, but to move in harmony with the greater rhythm. When you push against this natural tempo, you declare a subtle but significant distrust in the very force that breathes life into your dreams. The law of attraction responds not just to what you want, but to your relationship with time itself. Impatience emits a frequency of lack, a signal that says not enough or not yet, which paradoxically pushes your desires further from materialization. Trust, however, resonates at the frequency of completion, drawing your good to you through the most efficient path. For 3 cycles of the moon, Mabel sat by the brook each morning, allowing its wisdom to wash over her. She began to notice how the water never questioned its course or speed. It simply moved, knowing that each bend and eddy served a purpose in its journey to the sea. Gradually, she applied this understanding to her garden. Instead of willing her flowers to bloom, she appreciated their current state, the strength of their stems, the richness of their leaves, the promise in their buds. To her amazement, each flower began opening at exactly the moment her gratitude for its present form reached its peak. This is the hidden truth about divine timing. When you align with it, you enter a state of grace where everything unfolds in perfect sequence. Your surrender is not an admission of defeat, but a recognition of the grand design that weaves through all creation. It is an acknowledgement that the universe holds a higher vision for your good than you could conceive. The practice of aligning with divine timing requires a gentle yet persistent reminder to your consciousness. Whenever impatience arises within you, pause and whisper 3 times, "I trust life's pace." Allow these words to settle into your being until you feel your own heartbeat synchronizing with the world's natural rhythm. In this alignment, a warm glow of calm emerges from within, signaling your return to the flow of universal timing. Chapter 4. When Silence Speaks Back. In a bustling city filled with endless chatter, there lived a man named Chester whose words flowed like a river that never rested. His voice filled every space, his opinions decorated every silence, and his constant commentary formed a wall between himself and the whispers of wisdom that sought to reach him. One morning, after losing his voice to a common cold, Chester discovered something extraordinary in the spaces between words. The silence he had always rushed to fill began speaking to him in a language more eloquent than any he had known. Within the realm of manifestation, silence holds a sacred power that few understand. The universe communicates not through the clamor of human speech, but through the subtle frequencies that can only be detected when your inner world grows still. Your thoughts, like radio static, often overwhelm these divine transmissions. Think of your mind as a pool of water. When disturbed by constant ripples of thought and speech, its surface distorts every reflection. But when allowed to settle into perfect stillness, it becomes a mirror that clearly reflects the sky above. This is how silence works within your consciousness. It creates a pristine surface where universal wisdom can paint its messages. The law of attraction operates through vibration, not volume. Each desire you hold emanates a specific frequency, but this signal becomes muddled when overlaid with the noise of doubt, worry, and endless internal dialogue. Silence acts as a cosmic tuning fork, allowing you to align precisely with the frequency of your intentions. Yet silence is not merely the absence of sound. It is a living presence, a fertile void where creation begins. When you enter true silence, you step into the same space from which all manifestation emerges. This is why the ancient mystics taught that, before speaking your desires into existence, you must first learn to commune with the quiet. Chester's revelation deepened as his enforced silence stretched into a week. One afternoon, while sitting in his favorite chair, letting stillness wash through him like a gentle stream, he felt, rather than heard, a subtle nudge. Following this soundless guidance, he picked up a pen and, without thinking, began writing. Words flowed through him, arranging themselves into a children's poem about a quiet garden where magic grows. This simple act, born from silence, would later open doors he never imagined, leading to a successful career in children's literature. The wisdom encoded in Chester's experience reveals a universal truth. Silence is not empty. It is an amplifier of divine intelligence. Like a powerful lens that focuses scattered light into a bright beam, silence concentrates your energy and clarifies your connection to universal guidance. To harmonize with this truth, carve out a 10-minute sanctuary of silence in your day. Find a space where you can sit undisturbed and let your breath become your only companion. Listen, as though the universe itself is breathing beside you. In this pristine quiet, answers will ripple through your consciousness like stones dropping into still water, creating circles of clarity that expand into every area of your life. Chapter 5. The Vocabulary of Vibration. In a bustling city known for its music, a singer named Eloise woke one morning to find her voice had vanished. Not merely hoarse or strained, but completely gone. For someone who had built her life around the power of vocal expression, this silence felt like exile from her own essence. Day after day, she visited healers and specialists, each offering remedies that failed to restore her voice. In her apartment overlooking the city square, Eloise sat at her piano, fingers hovering over keys she couldn't complement with song. Yet in this enforced quiet, something unexpected emerged. She began to notice the subtle vibrations of the world around her, the hum of distant traffic forming a bass line, the whisper of wind creating melodies, the rhythmic tap of rain composing nature's symphony. As weeks passed, Eloise discovered that music existed far beyond the realm of sound. She felt the resonance of her piano strings in her fingertips, observed how certain notes made water ripple in her glass, and recognized that everything, from the smallest flower to the tallest building, pulsed with its own unique frequency. The universe speaks first in vibration, then in form. This truth has echoed through the ages, from the ancient temples where priests chanted sacred sounds, to modern laboratories where scientists study the patterns of waves and particles. Your every thought, every emotion, every intention carries its own distinctive frequency. Joy vibrates at the highest octaves, its light notes dancing through the cosmos, while fear dwells in the lower registers, creating discord in life's symphony. When you align your being with gratitude, you tune yourself to the universe's perfect pitch. Like a master instrument maker adjusting strings to exact tension, appreciation fine-tunes your energy to resonate with abundance. This is why moments of pure thankfulness often precede life's greatest gifts. You have matched your frequency to what you seek to attract. In her second month of silence, Eloise began a new practice. Each morning, she would sit at her piano and simply hum, not forcing sound, but feeling the vibration in her chest. She hummed gratitude for the sunshine, for her fingers that could still dance across keys, for the music that lived within her even without words. She hummed the feeling of joy, of peace, of possibility. One afternoon, as she hummed her appreciation while walking through the park, a film composer heard her. Moved by the pure emotion in her wordless melody, he invited her to create soundscapes for his next project, not with lyrics, but with pure, heartfelt resonance. Her voiceless expression touched audiences more deeply than any lyrics could have. Your voice, whether spoken, sung, or simply felt, carries creative power when aligned with gratitude. Like Eloise, you need not wait for perfect conditions to express your truth. The universe responds not to volume, but to vibration, not to words, but to the energy behind them. Sacred practice. Before speaking your intention, hum gently until your chest and throat glow with resonance. Then let your words emerge as golden light, vibration shaping reality even before sound takes form. Chapter 6. The Golden Thread of Belief. In a small village renowned for its craftsmanship, a tailor named Archer had earned respect for his meticulous work. Yet lately, an unsettling pattern emerged in his workshop. Garments that once held their shape perfectly began to mysteriously unravel. The more he fretted over each stitch, the faster the seams would come undone, as though his doubt had woven itself into the very fabric. One evening, as moonlight filtered through his workshop window, Archer noticed something remarkable. A wedding dress he had sewn in a rare moment of pure joy remained flawless, while a coat crafted during an anxious afternoon had loosened at every seam. The correlation between his state of mind and the durability of his work could no longer be ignored. The universe operates through an immutable principle. Your belief is both the needle and thread of creation. Just as a master tailor requires quality tools to craft lasting garments, your manifestations require unwavering faith to maintain their form. When doubt infiltrates your consciousness, it creates weak points in reality's fabric, places where your desires begin to unravel. Faith is not merely positive thinking. It is the invisible architecture of manifestation. Each thought you hold while creating becomes a stitch in the tapestry of your experience. The universe responds not just to your actions, but to the quality of belief behind them. This is why identical efforts can yield vastly different results. The hidden variable is always your conviction. In the physical realm, a garment's strength lies in the integrity of its seams. In the spiritual realm, your manifestations derive their power from the consistency of your faith. Every doubt creates a loose thread. Every belief reinforces the pattern of your desire. As seasons turned, Archer discovered an ancient practice. While working, he began whispering affirmations in rhythm with his needle. Each stitch perfects, each thread connects. This work reflects divine success. Soon, his creations began drawing admirers from distant lands. A nobleman, wearing one of Archer's suits, declared he could feel the garment radiating confidence. A bride reported that her dress seemed to shimmer with joy during her entire celebration. The true artistry wasn't in Archer's technical skill, though that remained impeccable, but in the faith he wove into every piece. His workshop transformed into a sanctuary where belief and creation danced together, each strengthening the other. Your own creative power follows this same principle. Whether you're writing, cooking, building, or dreaming, the strength of your manifestation depends on the quality of faith you invest in each moment. Just as a master tailor knows that rushing breeds mistakes, You must give your beliefs time to weave themselves firmly into the fabric of reality. Sacred practice. As you move through each task, let the words, "Every motion affirms my worth," echo within, infusing your actions with sacred precision and leaving behind the timeless signature of divine craftsmanship. Chapter 7. The Lantern Within the Fog. In a bustling city where artificial lights masked the stars, Penny moved through her days feeling lost amid endless choices. Each crossroad seemed to mock her with its multiplicity, until one twilight hour when she discovered an ancient truth. Standing at her window, watching shadows lengthen across the street, she closed her eyes and imagined a tiny flame kindling within her heart. To her amazement, this visualized light began to feel remarkably real, warm, steady, and knowing. In moments of decision, she noticed this inner illumination would flicker towards certain paths while dimming away from others. Your inner wisdom carries a light that outshines the brightest external guidance. Like Penny, you possess an eternal flame of knowing that burns beyond logic's reach. This sacred light responds not to the mind's questions, but to the soul's resonance. When you learn to trust this internal luminosity, the path ahead clarifies itself, step by precious step. The universe speaks in the language of light, through subtle illuminations that guide your journey. Your task is not to demand the entire road be lit at once, but to follow the glow of each moment's revelation. Uncertainty, far from being an obstacle, becomes the very space in which your inner lantern shines most brightly. Late one evening, as Penny sat in her office contemplating a career change, her inner light began to pulse with unusual intensity. Instead of dismissing this sensation as mere imagination, she allowed it to guide her. The flame seemed to warm, particularly when she considered teaching art to children, a path she had never rationally contemplated. Though her mind presented countless practical objections, the light in her heart remained unwavering. Following this inner radiance led her to volunteer at a local community center. There she discovered not only her natural gift for nurturing young artists, but also an unexpected opportunity to establish an innovative art therapy program. Her inner lantern had illuminated a path her logical mind could never have planned. This story mirrors your own journey of inner guidance. The light within you knows the way before your mind can comprehend it. When you trust this internal radiance, you align with the universe's divine orchestration. What appears as uncertainty to the mind is often sacred space for your soul's light to reveal its wisdom. Practice. The Lantern of Knowing. Before decisions, touch your chest lightly and visualize a small flame answering with warmth. Its yes feels like peace. Trust this subtle yet powerful guidance. It speaks with the voice of universal wisdom. Chapter 8. Conversations with Coincidence. Along a winding path through the forest, a blue feather drifted down before Nora's feet. She stepped over it, dismissing the encounter as random. The next morning, an identical feather rested on her windowsill. By the third day, when a blue feather floated into her teacup at the local cafe, her skepticism began to crack. The universe speaks not just through intuition and emotion, but through the physical language of synchronicity. These repeated symbols, these patterns that defy coincidence. They are cosmic conversations unfolding in the material world. When you notice these recurring signs, you glimpse the intricate tapestry of connection that binds all moments together. Your role in this divine dialogue is simple yet profound. Remain awake to the whispers of alignment that surround you. The universe delights in catching your attention through unusual repetitions, meaningful numbers, or symbols that seem to follow you through your days. These are not random events, but carefully orchestrated affirmations of your path. Like threads of gold in a vast tapestry, synchronicities reveal the conscious weaving of universal intelligence through your life. They appear most frequently when you stand at the threshold of significant change, offering guidance, confirmation, and sometimes gentle course corrections. When you learn to read these signs with an open heart, life transforms from a series of disconnected events into a meaningful conversation with the infinite. Each synchronicity serves as a lighthouse, illuminating the way forward when logic alone cannot guide you. One autumn evening, after weeks of seeing blue feathers, Nora finally paused to ponder their meaning. That same night, a poster caught her eye. A wildlife rehabilitation center needed volunteers to care for injured blue jays. Following this sign led her to discover her life's calling in animal rehabilitation, where each new feather reminded her of the perfection of universal timing. The blue feathers that once seemed like meaningless coincidences had actually been gentle nudges from the universe, leading Nora toward her true purpose. In accepting these signs as meaningful, she opened herself to a deeper layer of existence where nothing is truly random and everything speaks of connection. Your life, too, is filled with such divine winks and nods. The universe constantly reaches out through repeated symbols, unexpected encounters, and moments of perfect timing. These synchronicities serve as bridges between your conscious awareness and the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all of existence. Sacred practice. Whenever synchronicity appears, pause, whisper, "I see you," and feel the bond between your energy and destiny deepen, opening the way for life's subtle magic to reveal itself more often. Chapter 9. The Currency of Gratitude. In a small seaside town, a merchant named Clifford sat at his desk each evening, his heart heavy as he sorted through mounting bills. His hands trembled as he opened each envelope, seeing only scarcity where abundance once flowed. One night, exhausted from worry, he remembered his grandmother's curious habit of kissing every coin that passed through her hands. "Money is just frozen joy," she would say, waiting to be thawed by gratitude. That evening, instead of his usual dread, Clifford held each bill gently and whispered, "Thank you for the electricity that lights my home. Thank you for the water that nourishes my garden. Thank you for the roof that shelters my dreams." To his amazement, the weight in his chest began to lift. Within the sacred mathematics of the universe, gratitude functions as a spiritual multiplier. When you bless what flows through your life, even your obligations, you activate an ancient law of expansion. Each thank you becomes a seed planted in the fertile soil of infinite possibility. This is not mere positive thinking. It is the fundamental physics of abundance. Money, at its essence, is frozen energy waiting to be transformed by your consciousness. When you approach your financial life with appreciation rather than anxiety, you shift the entire energetic foundation of your relationship with abundance. Every bill represents an exchange of value, a flow of life force that connects you to the greater web of prosperity. In the depths of winter, when his business typically slowed, Clifford continued his practice of gratitude. He blessed his ledgers, appreciated his invoices, and thanked each customer, present and future. One morning, a letter arrived from a distant relative, containing an unexpected inheritance. The following week, a forgotten client returned with a large order. As spring approached, new opportunities bloomed like flowers after rain. The universe had responded to Clifford's shift in energy with a corresponding shift in circumstances. His appreciation had created a magnetic field that attracted more reasons to be thankful. Each genuine expression of gratitude became a bridge over which greater abundance could travel. What Clifford discovered transcends simple financial wisdom. It reveals a universal truth. The energy with which you engage your current resources determines how those resources will grow. When you thank the smallest coins, larger ones find their way to you. When you bless your bills with genuine appreciation, the universe conspires to lighten their weight. Your relationship with money is a reflection of your relationship with the flow of life itself. Every financial interaction offers an opportunity to choose between constriction and expansion, between fear and faith, between scarcity and abundance. The choice to give thanks, especially when it seems hardest, opens channels through which prosperity naturally flows. Sacred practice. Before any exchange, smile and breathe, affirming, "I circulate joy," and feel abundance flow with grace as your giving spirit transforms every transaction into a dance of effortless prosperity. Chapter 10. The Shift Becomes You. A young woman named Ivy stood before a magnificent oak door, her reflection caught in its polished brass handle. For months she had knocked, pushed, and pleaded, believing her dreams lay on the other side. The door remained steadfast, unmoved by her efforts. In her darkest moment of surrender, she caught a glimpse of herself in that curved brass surface and saw something she had never noticed before: her own light. The universe speaks through every reflection, revealing truth in the most unexpected places. What Ivy discovered in that moment was not just her image, but the very essence of who she truly was. She had been seeking permission to enter a reality that already existed within her. When you understand that manifestation flows from being rather than doing, everything shifts. The outer world is merely a mirror of your inner knowing. You have been taught to chase, to seek, to become, but the ancient truth whispers of remembrance rather than achievement. You are not moving toward your desires. You are awakening to the reality that you already embody them. In the realm of pure potential, your identity shapes the clay of existence. When you vibrate at the frequency of fulfillment, the universe has no choice but to reflect that resonance back to you. This is not pretense or imagination. It is the fundamental law of energetic alignment. You do not need to become something new. You need only to remember who you have always been. Later that evening, Ivy returned home and stood before her mirror. Instead of seeing someone who needed to achieve or acquire, she recognized herself as abundance incarnate. She began moving through her days not as one who lacked, but as one who overflowed. She no longer introduced herself as trying to be, but simply as being. Within weeks, opportunities began appearing, not because she had changed her actions, but because she had shifted her essence. The door she had struggled against for so long dissolved. revealing that it had only existed in her perception of separation from her desires. This transformation illustrates the profound truth. Manifestation is not about reaching or grasping. It is about embodying. When you know yourself as the source of all you seek, the outer world realigns to match your inner reality. You are not attracting what you want. You are radiating what you are. Each morning, greet your reflection. I am already there. Observe the subtle recalibration as your world follows suit. Part 2. The Expansion Path. Chapter 11. The Architecture of Contrast. In a bustling marketplace, Felix stood amid the ruins of his collapsed merchant stall, watching as the wind scattered his carefully crafted wares across the dusty ground. His heart sank with each piece that shattered. For 3 years, he had positioned his stall in the same spot, selling delicate pottery that caught the morning light. Now, a sudden gust had undone everything he had built. The universe speaks through what appears broken. Your path unfolds not despite obstacles, but because of them. Every setback carries within it a sacred message, waiting to be decoded by a willing heart. When Felix gathered the scattered pieces of pottery, something extraordinary caught his eye. The morning sun, streaming through a crack in one vessel, cast a pattern he had never seen before. This flaw created beauty he could never have designed intentionally. In that moment, the resistance that had gripped his heart began to soften. What you resist persists because it carries a gift you have yet to unwrap. The law of attraction works not only through alignment with what you desire, but through contrast with what you don't. Each no on your path helps sculpt a clearer yes. Each closed door defines the corridor leading to your highest good. Consider how a river doesn't fight the rocks in its path. It flows around them, letting their presence shape its course. The obstacles don't block the river's journey. They define its most natural route. Similarly, what appears as opposition in your life is actually divine direction, showing you where not to go so that your true path becomes unmistakable. Felix began to understand this wisdom as he rebuilt his stall. Instead of recreating what was lost, he incorporated the beauty of imperfection into his designs. He started crafting pottery with intentional spaces for light to shine through, transforming what once seemed like flaws into features of extraordinary beauty. One morning, a wealthy merchant passed by, stopped in his tracks by these unique creations. "In all my travels," he said, "I've never seen pottery that dances with light this way." This encounter led to opportunities Felix could never have imagined when clinging to his original vision. Life's seeming setbacks are precisely calibrated to push you toward your highest expression. What appears as rejection is often protection, guiding you away from what would limit you and toward what will liberate you. The universe's no is always in service of a greater yes. This truth manifests in all areas of life. The promotion you didn't receive creates space for the business you're meant to start. The relationship that ended prepares you for the connection that will transform you. The plan that fell apart makes way for the inspiration that will lift you higher. When you embrace this perspective, resistance becomes your ally. Each challenge carries a compass pointing toward your true north. The key lies not in avoiding opposition, but in learning to read its message with gratitude. When irritation flares, whisper, Thank you for my clarity. Watch negativity refine your intention's shape. Chapter 12. The Bridge of Emotion. In the quietude of her garden, Daisy meticulously recited affirmations each morning, her voice steady but hollow. I am abundance. I am joy. I am success. The words fell from her lips like stones into still water, creating ripples that faded without effect. For months she maintained this practice, wondering why the universe seemed deaf to her carefully crafted declarations. The truth beats beneath the surface of words. When you speak without feeling, you whisper to the wind. The law of attraction responds not to the poetry of your phrases, but to the music of your heart. One dawn, as Daisy began her usual ritual, something within her cracked. Years of contained disappointment burst forth like a spring storm. Tears streamed down her face as she continued speaking her affirmations, her voice now trembling with raw honesty. For the first time, the words carried the weight of her truth, and the universe stirred in response. Emotion is the current that carries intention into manifestation. Each feeling, whether joy, sorrow, excitement, or fear, generates a unique frequency that ripples through the fabric of creation. When you allow yourself to feel deeply, you speak in the universe's native tongue. As the seasons turned, Daisy discovered a new way of communing with the universe. One evening, as music drifted through her open windows, she found herself swaying, then dancing. Her movements became prayers, each gesture an honest expression of her heart's desires. She danced her dreams, her fears, her gratitude, and the universe began to dance with her. Within weeks, opportunities arose that mirrored the authenticity of her emotional expression. A chance encounter led to a partnership that aligned perfectly with her deepest aspirations. The very things she had tried to affirm into existence now flowed naturally into her life, drawn by the magnetic pull of her genuine feelings. Your emotions are not obstacles to overcome, but instruments to master. Each feeling carries a specific vibration, and when you allow yourself to experience them fully, you conduct the symphony of creation itself. The universe responds not to perfect words, but to authentic resonance. As Daisy twirled in her garden one morning, she understood at last. Manifestation flows not from rigid control, but from the courage to feel everything. Her tears had been keys unlocking doors, her laughter a light drawing miracles, her dance a declaration more powerful than any practiced phrase. The practice. Each day, choose a song that echoes your soul's mood and let your body move without restraint, dancing your truth into the universe until feeling and creation merge in one magnetic flow. Chapter 13. The Compass of Joy. Along a winding mountain path, Otis stood bewildered at a crossroads, his well-worn map torn and useless in the wind. For years, he had plotted each journey with precise calculations, measuring distance and plotting coordinates. Yet here, where three paths converged beneath an ancient oak, his careful planning dissolved into uncertainty. As he stood frozen in indecision, a burst of sunlight pierced the clouds, illuminating a patch of wildflowers along the leftmost path. Their vibrant colors sparked an inexplicable lightness in his heart. Against all logical reasoning, he followed this flutter of joy, stepping onto the flower-lined trail. This simple choice initiated a profound transformation in his understanding of navigation. The universe speaks through the language of feeling, marking true paths with the beacon of delight. Each step, guided by joy, becomes a step aligned with cosmic intention. That evening, the path led Otis to a small village where laughter echoed from a local gathering. Following the sound, he discovered travelers sharing stories and breaking bread. Among them was a merchant who offered him passage on a trading vessel, exactly the opportunity he had been seeking for months through careful planning. When you release the rigid maps of logic and follow the compass of joy, you align with the universe's natural current. Joy is not mere emotion. It is spiritual positioning, a signal that you have found your true coordinates in the vast geography of possibility. The next morning, Otis continued his journey differently. Rather than consulting his maps, he began each day by asking himself what direction felt lightest. When faced with choices, he followed whatever sparked that familiar flutter in his heart. This new navigation led him to experiences no map could have charted. Hidden valleys where wise teachers shared ancient wisdom, chance encounters that bloomed into lifelong friendships, and opportunities that seemed to materialize from thin air. A wise elder once said, "The universe places joy like breadcrumbs along your destined path." Your natural enthusiasm is not random. It is divine guidance dressed in the garments of delight. Each moment of spontaneous joy is a celestial signpost pointing toward your highest alignment. Through mountain passes and across vast plains, Otis discovered that joy knew better than any compass. When his heart felt light, provision appeared. When laughter guided his steps, synchronicity danced around him. He had stumbled upon the most ancient of navigational tools, the inner compass of delight. You need not see the entire path to take the next joyful step. The universe marks each turn with a sparkle of enthusiasm, each milestone with a burst of inexplicable lightness. What appears as random happiness is actually precise spiritual coordinates guiding you toward your highest potential. The practice. Do one thing today solely for the joy of it, and watch how that single spark of delight becomes a compass, guiding the universe to arrange miracles in the rhythm of your smile. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Alchemy of Forgiveness. In a garden where roses bloomed alongside thorns, Flora tended her flowers with hands marked by invisible scars. Each morning, she would water her plants while carrying the weight of memories that pricked deeper than any thorn could reach. Her heart had become like the withered leaves she cleared away, brittle and ready to crumble at the slightest touch. One dawn, as she watched a dewdrop release its hold on a petal, something within her stirred. The droplet did not cling or resist. It simply let go, transforming from burden to beauty as it fell. In that moment, she glimpsed a truth as old as the earth itself. The universe operates through constant release and renewal. When you hold on to pain, you create a dam in the natural flow of life's energy. This resistance manifests as spiritual exhaustion, blocking the very abundance seeking to reach you. Forgiveness is not about pardoning the unpardonable. It is about freeing yourself from carrying energy that was never yours to hold. Like a river must release its grip on winter ice to welcome spring's flow, your spirit must release stored pain to welcome new possibilities. This release transforms the heavy metals of resentment into golden opportunities for growth. The universe cannot fill hands still clutching old wounds. In the quiet depths of an autumn evening, Flora sat with a letter she had kept for years. Within its folds lay the evidence of betrayal that had shaped her days. As twilight painted the sky in gentle hues, she realized the paper had become a map leading nowhere. With trembling fingers, she lifted it to the candlelight, watching as the flame transformed her burden into ash. As the last ember faded, she felt lighter than she had in years. The following spring, her garden flourished with unprecedented vigor. New varieties of flowers appeared as if by magic, carried by winds from unknown places. Visitors often remarked on the peaceful energy that seemed to emanate from every bloom. Flora understood then that her garden had become a reflection of her liberated heart. Where once grew only roses and thorns, now thrived a symphony of color and life. Your pain was valid, but your healing is vital. Each act of forgiveness creates space for the universe to plant seeds of unexpected joy. The energy you reclaim through release becomes the very force that attracts your heart's deepest wishes. Ancient practice. Place your hand over your heart, whisper inwardly, "I set us both free," and feel the waves of release expand through you as the universe answers with quiet, infinite grace. Chapter 15. The Invisible Audience. Along a winding mountain path, Roscoe walked with uncertainties weighing upon his shoulders. The morning air held a peculiar stillness, as if nature itself paused in anticipation. As he contemplated his upcoming presentation, a leaf spiraled down, landing perfectly at his feet. Then another, and another, forming an arrow pointing toward a hidden trail he had never noticed. Following this leafy guidance, he discovered a clearing bathed in sunlight. There, as if arranged by unseen hands, stood a circle of stones that seemed to beckon him forward. In that moment, he felt a presence, not eerie or haunting, but warm and familiar, like forgotten friends returning. The universe never operates in isolation. Just as every star belongs to a constellation, you exist within a vast network of supporting energies. These unseen allies, call them angels, guides, or simply universal forces, coordinate with your intentions, orchestrating circumstances beyond what your physical eyes can perceive. When you acknowledge this support system, you activate its potential. Like radio waves that have always filled the air, becoming audible only when tuned to the right frequency. Your recognition allows these helpers to manifest more tangibly in your experience. Your belief creates the channel through which assistance flows. These forces work through synchronicity, those moments when external events align so perfectly with your inner world that coincidence becomes too shallow a word. A book falls open to exactly the page you need. A stranger offers the precise advice you were seeking. A delay leads to an unexpected opportunity. These are not random occurrences, but the fingerprints of your invisible support team. As twilight approached on the day of his presentation, Roscoe stood backstage, heart racing. Instead of rehearsing one final time, he closed his eyes and whispered to the empty air, "Thank you for standing with me." Though the auditorium lights prevented him from seeing his audience clearly, he felt embraced by encouraging presence. As he spoke, ideas flowed effortlessly. Questions from the audience seemed perfectly timed, allowing him to share his most important points. Later, Attendees mentioned feeling unusually connected to his message, as if the words had been chosen specifically for them. Recognition dawned in Roscoe's heart. He had never truly been alone on that stage. The standing ovation he received celebrated not just his visible performance, but the invisible orchestra that had conducted every moment. You are supported more abundantly than you realize. Every intention you set ripples through the universe, activating assistance beyond your current awareness. Your recognition of this support magnifies its effectiveness, like switching on a light to discover a room full of friends who were there all along. Ancient practice. Before you begin, whisper, "To my unseen allies, thank you," and step ahead with calm assurance, knowing countless invisible hands move in harmony with your every intention. Chapter 16. The Frequency of Generosity. In a small coastal town, June counted her coins each evening, arranging them in neat stacks that never seemed tall enough. Though her flower shop brought steady customers, fear of lack gripped her heart like winter frost. Each sale filled her with momentary relief, quickly replaced by worry about tomorrow's uncertainties. One morning, as she arranged her window display, an elderly woman paused to admire the lilies but walked away with a sigh. Without fully understanding why, June plucked the finest bloom and hurried after her, offering it as a gift. The woman's eyes brightened with such joy that June felt wealth flow through her own heart. When you give from authenticity, you declare to the universe that you trust in life's endless flow. Generosity is not measured by quantity, but by the expansiveness of spirit behind the act. Each genuine gift carries your energy into the world, creating ripples that return bearing abundance. This is not transaction, but transformation. Your willingness to share demonstrates faith in renewal. Many wait to give until they feel abundant, but this inverts the natural law. Giving initiates abundance, for it requires you to experience yourself as source rather than recipient. As you extend yourself in generosity, you strengthen your connection to the infinite supply that flows through all things. The universe mirrors your expectations. When you clutch tightly to what you have, you broadcast the frequency of scarcity. But when you give freely, you align with the cosmic law of circulation. Like breath itself, which must be released to make room for fresh air, wealth must flow outward to flow back multiplied. The following week, June began placing a free flower on each morning's first purchase, speaking a blessing over every bundle she created. Soon, customers started leaving larger tips, referring friends, and returning more frequently. One client commissioned weekly arrangements for her restaurant, explaining that she was drawn to the special energy in June's flowers. Most remarkably, June noticed her anxiety about money dissolving. With each act of giving, her inner abundance grew stronger than her outer circumstances. She discovered that generosity wasn't about the flowers at all. It was about allowing herself to be a channel for joy. Within the simple rhythm of giving and receiving, she found the secret. Abundance isn't something to chase, but something to embody. Every time she shared freely, the universe responded with surprising gifts, as if confirming, yes, there is always more than enough. Sacred practice. Offer a sincere compliment or small kindness daily. Witness your self-value rise through someone else's smile. Chapter 17. The Symphony of Co-Creation. Long ago, in a village between mountains, lived Walter, a skilled craftsman who worked alone in his workshop. Day after day he shaped wood into beautiful pieces, yet something felt missing in his solitary pursuits. His creations, though masterful, seemed to lack the spark of true magic. The universe speaks through connection, weaving individual threads into tapestries of shared dreams. Each soul carries a unique vibration, but when hearts align in common purpose, the frequency multiplies beyond measure. One autumn morning, Walter discovered a fallen oak blocking the village path. As he contemplated moving it alone, neighbors emerged one by one. Together, they transformed the obstacle into an opportunity. Some suggested a community bench, others envisioned a gathering place. Walter's skilled hands guided their collective effort, and within days, the fallen oak became a beautiful circular seating area where villagers shared stories and dreams. This simple act awakened Walter to the power of unified intention. His workshop doors opened to others' ideas. Children suggested whimsical designs. Elders shared forgotten woodworking wisdom. Each project became richer through collaboration, carrying the energy of many hearts. When you join forces with others in trust and openness, manifestation accelerates naturally. Like instruments in an orchestra, individual talents blend to create something greater than the sum of their parts. The universe responds more powerfully to harmonized intentions than to isolated wishes. A second tale unfolds as Walter walks past an abandoned plot of land. Instead of seeing emptiness, he envisions a garden. This time he immediately shares his vision with others. Farmers offer seeds, children bring enthusiasm, elders share wisdom about planting cycles. Without strain or struggle, the garden blooms abundantly, nourished by collective care and shared joy. The garden flourishes not just from physical effort, but from the combined faith of many believers. Each person's contribution amplifies the creative force, like drops of water joining to form a mighty river. What seemed impossible alone becomes effortless together. You see, when dreams include others' well-being, they tap into a higher frequency of manifestation. Individual desire transforms into collective elevation, and the universe responds with multiplied blessings. This is the sacred mathematics of co-creation. 1 + 1 = infinity when hearts align in shared purpose. Ancient practice. Before you begin, let your vision widen to embrace others' joy, feeling your dream expand into a shared radiance where cooperation becomes the magnet that draws true prosperity to all. Chapter 18. The Voice Beyond Reasons. A gentle voice called to Sylvie one morning, urging her to take the longer path home, though her mind insisted on the usual route, shorter, more practical. Something within whispered of unseen wisdom. Following this subtle guidance, she discovered a lost child who needed direction. Had she chosen logic over intuition, their paths would never have crossed. The universe speaks in whispers beneath the noise of reason. Your deepest knowing arrives not through careful calculation, but through the quiet certainty that precedes thought. This ancient intelligence flows from the same source that guides birds to migrate and flowers to face the sun. It requires no justification, for it carries the signature of divine wisdom. Within you lies a compass more sophisticated than any rational analysis. This knowing doesn't argue or defend. It simply presents truth with the simplicity of a breeze touching your skin. When you learn to trust this subtle guidance, you align with the universe's orchestration of perfect timing and placement. Your intuition is the universe's love letter, written in the language of feeling. It arrives as a gentle pull toward or away from situations, a flutter in your solar plexus, or an inexplicable knowing that defies explanation. This guidance system operates beyond the limitations of linear thinking, accessing a realm where all possibilities exist simultaneously. In another tale, Sylvie sat before two business proposals. On paper, the first option promised greater returns and security. Yet something within her resonated with the smaller, seemingly riskier venture. Despite protests from colleagues and her own analytical mind, she followed that inner resonance. Within months, this choice revealed itself as divinely orchestrated, opening doors she couldn't have imagined and connecting her with precisely the right people at the right time. This journey into trust requires courage, the willingness to step beyond the familiar territory of logic into the vast landscape of infinite intelligence. Every time you honor that quiet knowing, you strengthen your connection to universal wisdom. The mind may demand evidence before action, but intuition invites you to act from faith and watch the evidence unfold. The universe operates through this subtle language of intuitive guidance, arranging circumstances for the highest good of all involved. Your role is not to figure everything out, but to attune yourself to this deeper wisdom and allow it to guide your steps. When Sylvie learned to trust these subtle promptings, her life began flowing with an ease that planning could never achieve. What appeared as random hunches revealed themselves as threads in a larger tapestry of divine orchestration. She discovered that intuition doesn't just react to what is, it creates what could be. Your intuition is not just a passive receiver of information, it is an active force of creation. When you align with its guidance, you step into a flow where synchronicities multiply and miracles become natural occurrences. Ancient practice. When uncertainty presses, ask softly, what feels lighter? The lighter choice is guidance speaking. Chapter 19. The Sacred Pause. In the heart of a bustling marketplace, Edgar wove through the crowds, his mind racing with endless tasks. Each achievement merely sparked hunger for the next conquest. His calendar overflowed with appointments, his nights shortened by ambition. "Time is money," he would say, treating rest as a weakness to overcome. One afternoon, as he rushed between meetings, his body simply stopped responding. No warning, no negotiation, just a complete shutdown that left him confined to his bed for weeks. In that forced stillness, the universe delivered its message. Sometimes surrender is the highest form of wisdom. The truth lies within nature's own rhythm. Notice how the ocean pulls back before each powerful wave, how the earth lies fallow between harvests, how your own breath contains that sacred space between inhale and exhale. This universal pattern reveals that rest is not the opposite of productivity. It is its foundation. Your creative force operates like a well. Each inspiration you draw depletes the waters until stillness allows them to replenish. When you honor this cycle, ideas flow with natural abundance. But when you attempt to force continuous output, you drain the very source of your power. Rest is active reception. In these quiet spaces, the universe deposits its greatest gifts, insights that could never break through the barrier of constant motion. Your pause is not empty. It is pregnant with potential. Edgar discovered this wisdom through his second chance. After recovery, he began honoring the spaces between his actions. He noticed that his most brilliant solutions emerged not from relentless pursuit, but from moments of conscious release. One morning, instead of rushing to solve a pressing business challenge, he sat in his garden, watching leaves dance in the breeze. As his mind settled into that natural rhythm, the perfect strategy emerged effortlessly, more elegant than anything his stressed mind could have engineered. This simple shift transformed not only his results, but his relationship with time itself. He learned that stepping back was not stepping down. It was stepping into alignment with universal flow. You are not here to push against life's current, but to move in harmony with its natural cadence. Every pause you take is an act of trust, a declaration that you need not control every moment to receive abundance. When fatigue whispers, listen. When overwhelm creeps in, pause. These are not interruptions to your path. They are the path. The universe speaks most clearly in the spaces between your striving. Practice. Take 5 slow breaths midday. Inhale possibility. Exhale permission. Notice genius slip quietly between. Chapter 20. The horizon answers back. A merchant wandered through distant lands, carrying precious jewels to trade. Each night she carefully arranged her wares before the village square, yet day after day passed without a single sale. Ruby watched this scene unfold from her window, noting how the merchant's shoulders grew heavier with each setting sun, until one morning something shifted. The merchant began laying out her jewels with a different energy, not desperate but dancing. She polished each stone as though already seeing it adorning its destined owner. Her movements flowed with certainty, her smile reflecting the gem's sparkle. Within days, travelers appeared as if summoned, drawn to her radiant expectation. Her entire collection sold before the week's end. This simple truth illuminates the essence of manifestation. It is not the asking that creates, but the quality of your expectation. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up each day to check its progress. Your trust in nature's process allows the roots to take hold. Many believe they are practicing the law of attraction when they repeatedly launch desires into the universe. Yet their energy carries an undertone of anxiety, a subtle vibration that says, "I don't really believe this will happen." This frequency of doubt creates resistance in the very fabric of manifestation. True expectation feels like the calm certainty of sunrise. You don't hope the sun will rise, you know it. This knowing is the frequency that commands reality to conform to your vision. It's not about controlling outcomes, but about aligning with the natural law of fulfillment. Consider how a child anticipates their birthday. There's no worry, no checking if it will arrive. They simply live in the joy of knowing, letting that assurance color their thoughts until the day arrives. This is pure, faithful expectation, the kind that moves mountains. In the merchant's village lived a weaver who had long dreamed of creating tapestries for the royal court. Each morning she would sit at her loom, fingers trembling with worry about rejection. Her work, though skilled, carried the tight threads of fear. Until she witnessed the merchant's transformation. Inspired, the weaver began each day touching her threads with reverence, feeling the softness of royal velvet beneath her fingers before she even began. She wove as though each piece already hung in palace halls, her hands guided by unwavering faith. Within a season, a royal messenger appeared at her door, carrying an invitation she had known would come. The universe responds not to your requests, but to your resonance. When you vibrate at the frequency of faith, you become a magnet for miracles. Your certainty creates a bridge across which your desires can walk into reality. Practice. Watch each sunset, imagining your desires returning with dawn. Release the ache of waiting into the sky's infinite trust. Part 3. The Embodied Universe. Chapter 21. The Circle of Receiving. In a village among ancient hills lived Vera, whose garden overflowed with herbs and flowers she freely shared with all who passed. Her gentle hands wove wreaths of healing plants for the sick and crafted bouquets for celebrations, yet when others extended kindness in return, she would wave it away with hurried words. No, no, I couldn't possibly accept. One morning, as Vera gathered rosemary, an old woman appeared at her gate. "Your flowers have healed my grandchild," she said, offering a beautifully woven shawl. Vera immediately protested, "Please keep it. I need nothing in return." The old woman's eyes sparkled with wisdom as she replied, "When you dam a river at one end, you stop its flow at both." The universe speaks through the language of exchange. Like breath itself, life moves in cycles of giving and receiving. When you resist receiving, you create resistance in the very fabric of abundance. This resistance ripples outward, affecting not only your own prosperity, but the joy of those who wish to give. Each time you deflect a gift, compliment, or helping hand, you interrupt the sacred dance of energy that sustains all of creation. Think of a flower that closes its petals to the sun. How can it bloom? Consider the earth that refuses rain, or the lungs that will only exhale. The universe knows no separation between giving and receiving. They are twin aspects of the same divine flow. Your openness to receive becomes the very channel through which more blessings can flow to others through you. Another tale speaks of Maya, a musician who played beautiful melodies in the town square but would never accept payment. "My music is a gift," she would insist, turning away even the smallest coin. As her strings wore thin and her instrument began to fade, a child approached with a single silver piece. "Your song gave my mother hope when she was ill," the child said. "Please let me honor that." In that moment, Maya saw how her refusal of gratitude had been denying others their own joy of giving. As she accepted the coin with grace, music seemed to fill the air around them both, richer than before. This truth echoes through existence. Receiving with grace amplifies the frequency of abundance. When you accept what is offered, be it help, appreciation, or material support, you complete a circuit of energy that empowers both giver and receiver. Your acceptance becomes an act of trust in the universe's infinite supply. Today, witness how often you deflect what is freely offered. Notice the subtle ways you might block the flow, through dismissal of compliments, resistance to assistance, or discomfort with gifts. Each moment of receiving is an opportunity to align with abundance's natural rhythm. Practice. Each time someone offers assistance, breathe and simply say, "Thank you, I receive." Feel the vibration complete its orbit. Chapter 22. The Art of Remembering. A merchant lived in a bustling city, his days consumed by endless striving. Calvin filled his hours pursuing achievements, collecting accolades like precious gems, yet each accomplishment left him feeling strangely hollow. He maintained pristine ledgers of his successes, but had forgotten to account for his soul's worth. One evening, exhausted from chasing another deadline, Calvin caught his reflection in a shop window. The face that gazed back seemed unfamiliar, a stranger wearing accomplishments like armor. In that moment, a street lamp flickered, and for a breath he glimpsed something ancient in his eyes, something that existed before all his doing. The universe does not measure your worth by earthly metrics. You arrived complete, a perfect expression of divine energy choosing human form. When you forget this truth, you begin seeking outside yourself for what already exists within. This forgetting, this spiritual amnesia, creates the illusion of separation from your own power. Your true identity transcends all achievements and setbacks. It remains untouched by success or failure, wealth or scarcity. When you remember your divine nature, your vibration automatically realigns with the frequency of abundance. This remembrance is not learning something new, but recognizing what has always been true. Think of how the ocean doesn't need to prove its wetness, nor does the sun question its ability to shine. Your worth, like theirs, is inherent, not earned, but eternally present. Each time you forget this truth, you temporarily disconnect from your natural state of abundance. The wise ones speak of a great remembering, the moment when the dream of separation dissolves into the reality of unity. This awakening requires no special ceremonies or complex rituals. It asks only that you turn your gaze inward and recognize what has never left. There lived a teacher named May who spent years accumulating degrees and certifications, believing each new credential would finally make her complete. One morning, while organizing her wall of diplomas, she noticed her reflection in the glass. Beyond the titles and achievements, she saw something timeless gazing back, the eternal presence that had witnessed every moment of her journey. In that recognition, all her striving melted away. She understood that her worth had never depended on these paper proofs of merit. This simple act of remembering transforms your entire field of attraction. When you know, truly know, your divine nature, you naturally attract experiences that match this truth. Your outer world begins reflecting your inner recognition. The secret lies not in becoming, but in remembering. You are not broken seeking wholeness. You are wholeness temporarily believing in brokenness. This remembrance changes everything, not by adding something new, but by revealing what was never lost. Begin each morning whispering, "I remember what I am." Let that truth tint every thought golden. Chapter 23. The Meadow of Trust. In a small village among rolling hills, Bertie tended her garden with an anxious heart. Each morning she would plant her seeds with trembling hope, only to dig them up hours later, examining them for any sign of life. Her delicate hands, stained with soil, would carefully return them to the earth, but her restless mind could never let them be. The universe speaks through every blade of grass, and in Bertie's garden it whispered a vital truth. Each time she uprooted her seeds to check their progress, she interrupted the very miracle she longed to witness. Her actions mirrored the way many approach manifestation, planting intentions only to disturb them with doubt before they can take root. When you plant a seed in the fertile soil of the universe, its growth follows divine timing. Every thought you hold is a seed, every intention a potential flower. Yet the magic of manifestation requires something more precious than effort. It demands trust. Like seeds in darkness before their emergence, your desires need space to germinate in the unseen realms. The art of allowing is perhaps the most challenging aspect of creation. Your logical mind seeks evidence, proof, progress reports. But the universe operates in the realm of invisible becoming, where transformation occurs in the sacred dark, beyond the reach of anxious eyes. In time, Birdie discovered a deeper wisdom. One day, instead of checking her seeds, she chose to honor their hidden journey. She began speaking to her garden as if it were already flourishing, expressing gratitude for the abundance still beneath the soil. She learned to trust the process that had birthed forests since time began. Weeks passed, and something remarkable occurred. Where once she had only patches of disturbed earth, now stood a meadow so vibrant it seemed to dance with life. Flowers she had planted bloomed alongside unexpected volunteers, gifts from birds and wind, allowed to root and flourish in her newfound patience. This same principle governs all manifestation. When you release your grip on how and when your desires should materialize, you allow the universe's infinite intelligence to work unimpeded. Your role is not to force growth, but to maintain the optimal conditions through unwavering faith and joyful expectation. Think of your manifesting power as a garden of infinite potential. Each dream you hold is a seed already containing its full expression. Your trust is the water, your belief the sunlight, and your patience the rich soil in which miracles take root. Like Birdie's meadow, your life will flourish not through constant checking and controlling, but through steady faith in the unseen processes of becoming. The universe knows how to grow flowers, and it knows how to grow your dreams. Sacred practice. When doubt stirs, rest your hand on your heart and whisper, "Roots are forming," knowing that unseen beneath the surface, the universe is tending your dreams toward their inevitable bloom. Chapter 24. The Infinite Reflection. In the bustling streets of an ancient city, Harvey walked with his camera, capturing moments that somehow always emerged clouded and dim. No matter how he adjusted his settings or positioned his subjects, every photograph seemed to reflect an inexplicable darkness. His subjects, vibrant street vendors, laughing children, elegant elders, all appeared muted, as though viewed through a veil of uncertainty. The truth that awaits your discovery lies within this simple observation. Your world reflects your inner state with perfect accuracy. Like Harvey, you may find yourself wondering why certain patterns persist in your experience, not realizing that your lens of perception creates the very reality you observe. The law of reflection operates with unwavering precision. Your external circumstances mirror your internal vibration with such exactness that, once understood, it becomes impossible to separate the observer from the observed. This is not metaphor. It is the fundamental architecture of existence. When Harvey began to recognize his own worth, his photographs transformed. Without changing his camera or his technique, his images suddenly captured the light dancing in strangers' eyes, the subtle grace in everyday movements, the inherent dignity in each face. His shift in self-perception altered the very physics of light and shadow before his lens. This principle extends far beyond photography. Every relationship you encounter, every opportunity that presents itself, every circumstance that unfolds, all are reflecting your dominant vibration back to you. The universe functions as an immaculate mirror, showing you with precise clarity what you hold within. Consider how often you have blamed the mirror for what it shows, like attempting to adjust a reflection by moving the glass. Trying to change your external world without shifting your internal state creates only frustration. The mirror cannot show what isn't present in the one standing before it. A humble street sweeper crossed Harvey's path one morning, her weathered face glowing with inner peace. Through his newly cleared lens, Harvey captured not just her image, but the radiance of her being. The photograph, when developed, moved viewers to tears, not because of technical perfection, but because it reflected the truth Harvey had discovered within himself, that beauty exists wherever we have the clarity to perceive it. This wisdom whispers to you now. Your life is showing you exactly what you believe about yourself and the nature of existence. Each interaction, each event, each circumstance arrives as a perfectly calibrated reflection. When you understand this, you hold the key to transformation. Change your inner landscape, and the outer must follow. It is cosmic law. Before judging any external scene, ask, what part of me is being shown? Gratitude reframes reflection. Chapter 25. The Breath Between Worlds. In a sunlit room overlooking a quiet garden, Sadie sat in frustration, her dreams feeling distant and unreachable. Each morning she would list her intentions, speak her affirmations, yet something felt missing in her practice. Until one peaceful dawn, when she noticed the gentle rise and fall of her chest. With each breath she drew in, possibility sparkled in the air around her. As she released, old doubts dissolved like morning mist. This simple rhythm began teaching her the most fundamental truth about manifestation. Creation follows the pattern of breath itself. The universe speaks in cycles of expansion and release. Your breath embodies this eternal dance. Each inhalation draws in life force. Each exhalation transforms it. This is not merely metaphor, but the very template of manifestation laid into your physical form. When you breathe consciously, you participate in the primal act of creation. Each inhalation is an opportunity to draw in fresh potential. Each exhalation, a chance to release what no longer serves. Your breath becomes a bridge between the visible and invisible realms, translating pure potential into form. As Sadie deepened her awareness of this rhythm, she discovered that aligning her intentions with her breathing gave them new power. While visualizing her desires, she would breathe in possibility and exhale resistance. This simple practice began shifting her entire vibration. One morning, as spring light filtered through her window, Sadie felt her breath synchronize with a deeper current, the very pulse of creation itself. In that moment, she understood that she had always been part of this cosmic rhythm. Her separate self dissolved into the greater breath of life. The sacred texts speak of breath as the first bridge between spirit and form. When you breathe consciously, you participate in this original act of creation. Each breath becomes a prayer, each cycle a complete manifestation in miniature. Consider how a seed unfolds. It must first break open, releasing its old form before new growth can emerge. Your breath follows this same pattern of surrender and becoming. The exhale must empty you before the inhale can fill you with fresh life. Sadie found herself naturally extending this awareness into her daily life. Before important meetings, she would take one conscious breath to align her energy. When facing challenges, she would breathe in strength and exhale fear. Her breath became her constant companion in creation. In the quiet moments between activities, she would pause for a single breath, feeling it refresh her connection to Source. This simple practice began attracting synchronicities, as though the universe was breathing with her, moving life force exactly where it needed to flow. Your breath is not separate from the greater breath of life. Each conscious inhalation draws in universal intelligence. Each mindful exhalation releases you into its flow. This is the most natural form of prayer, not words spoken, but life force moving through form. Practice. Between each task, take a slow, deliberate breath, welcoming new possibilities in, releasing resistance out, and feel yourself move in rhythm with the eternal dance of creation. Chapter 26. The Lighthouse Effect. In a bustling marketplace, Clara stood behind her small flower stall, quietly observing the stream of hurried faces passing by. One morning, rather than calling out to attract customers as others did, she simply began arranging her flowers with genuine love, allowing her inner joy to shine through each motion. To her amazement, people began pausing, drawn not by the flowers themselves, but by the peaceful energy emanating from her corner of the market. Within each of us dwells a light that transcends words, a force more potent than any sermon or teaching could convey. This light, when allowed to shine naturally, becomes a beacon that guides others toward their own inner radiance. You need not proclaim your wisdom or advertise your spiritual understanding. The universe responds most powerfully to authentic embodiment rather than intentional display. Your presence alone, when filled with genuine love, creates ripples of transformation in the fabric of reality. This principle operates through energetic resonance, like a tuning fork that causes nearby instruments to vibrate at its frequency. As you allow your inner light to glow without agenda, you become a living invitation for others to remember their own brilliance. The ancient wisdom keepers understood that true teaching happens in silence. Your energy field extends far beyond your physical form, touching lives in ways your conscious mind may never grasp. Each time you choose love over fear, peace over conflict, or acceptance over judgment, you amplify the light within you. This amplification occurs naturally, without effort or striving. One evening, as Clara was closing her stall, she noticed a woman sitting alone on a nearby bench, shoulders heavy with invisible burdens. Instead of offering advice or even flowers, Clara simply sat quietly nearby, allowing her inner peace to radiate freely. Soon, the woman's breathing slowed, her posture softened, and a subtle smile crossed her face. No words had passed between them, yet healing had occurred. In the days that followed, more people found their way to Clara's corner of the market. They came not just for flowers, but for the inexplicable sense of well-being they felt in her presence. She had become a lighthouse of sorts, though she never once thought of herself that way. Her light shone simply because she had allowed it to, without expectation or attachment to results. This tale reveals a profound truth. Transformation flows most powerfully through those who embody light without seeking to change others. The universe magnifies this form of service precisely because it arises from being rather than doing. You need not strive to be a beacon of hope. You already are one. Your task is simply to remove the veils that hide this truth. Sacred practice. Each day, sit in stillness with your hand over your heart, letting a golden light bloom and shine through you effortlessly, trusting its natural brilliance to reach every place that needs your warmth. Chapter 27. The Dance of Detachment. Along the sun-drenched coast, Homer crafted intricate sand sculptures each dawn. His hands moved with practiced precision as he shaped dolphins leaping through crystalline waves and mermaids basking on detailed rock formations. Yet with each masterpiece, a shadow of anxiety darkened his artistry. He would guard his creations fiercely, building barriers of driftwood, shooing away curious children, and fretting over every approaching wave. The universe speaks through what persists, despite our grip. As you hold your dreams with clenched fists, you restrict their ability to dance with divine timing. Your desires are living energies. They require space to breathe, to expand, to transform into forms more magnificent than your mind could plan. Homer's obsession grew until he spent sleepless nights calculating tide tables and rising before dawn to build ever higher walls around his sculptures. His joy in creation withered into exhausting vigilance. Each piece became a prison of his own making, trapping not just the art, but his spirit within walls of worry. The law of attraction responds not to the intensity of your focus, but to the freedom in your frequency. When attachment constricts your energy, you broadcast resistance rather than receptivity. The universe cannot deliver through a closed door, even when you believe you're protecting what matters most. One stormy morning, Homer arrived to find his barricades broken and his latest masterpiece returned to simple sand. Exhausted from his constant guardianship, he sank to his knees. In that moment of surrender, something shifted. The weight of control lifted from his shoulders like mist in morning sun. Let this truth settle into your bones. What is truly yours cannot be lost. The universe operates through an intelligence far beyond your careful planning. Your role is not to force outcomes, but to align with the natural flow of creation itself. The next day, Homer began sculpting again, but differently. He worked with lighter hands, celebrating each shape while knowing it was temporary. He welcomed children to learn beside him, sharing his techniques with open-hearted joy. To his amazement, photographs of his fleeting art began circulating online. A gallery owner, touched by the message of impermanence in his work, offered him a show translating his sand techniques into permanent sculptures. Release is not resignation. It is sacred trust in the universe's grander vision. When you surrender your iron grip on how things should be, you create space for miracles that exceed your imagination. Your desires know their way home. They simply ask you to stop blocking their path with anxiety. Ancient practice. After declaring your intention, breathe deeply and affirm, "I trust you to unfold," allowing control to dissolve into serene confidence as you remember the universe always crafts a plan more perfect than your own. Chapter 28. The Home Frequency. In a bustling marketplace, Etta moved like a leaf caught in the wind, shifting her wares and changing her display with each passing comment. Her hand-woven textiles bore the marks of constant reinvention, threads pulled and rewoven, patterns altered mid-design, colors changed to match the preferences of potential buyers. Each morning, she would scan faces for approval, adjusting her creations and herself to match the whims of strangers. As merchants around her flourished with steady customs, Etta's stall remained in perpetual flux. "Perhaps if I add more gold thread," she would whisper, unraveling hours of work. "Maybe these colors are too bold," she would fret, muting vibrant hues to please a passing critic. Her art, like her spirit, had become a reflection of everyone except herself. The universe speaks through what persists, and in this dance of constant adaptation, you cannot hear your own rhythm. When you scatter your energy seeking validation in every direction, you become like a house built on shifting sands. External approval is but morning mist, present at dawn, gone by midday. True power emerges when you anchor yourself in self-trust. Your energy field is your first home. Within its boundaries, you are both architect and dweller. As you cultivate this inner sanctuary, life responds not to what you do, but to the frequency you maintain. Think of how plants grow. They neither chase the sun nor beg for soil. They root deeply where they stand, and nourishment finds them. Security is not found in the opinions of others, but in the quiet certainty of your own worth. When you vibrate at the frequency of self-acceptance, the universe mirrors back experiences that match this resonance. Your task is not to convince the world of your value, but to remain steadfast in your own knowing. Consider how a lighthouse operates. It doesn't run up and down the coast seeking ships to guide. It stands unwavering, and vessels navigate by its consistent light. This is the power of maintaining your energetic center. One morning, as Etta sat in her empty stall, an old woman paused before her work. Instead of offering advice, she simply asked, "What patterns live in your dreams?" For the first time, Etta closed her eyes and listened to her inner wisdom. That evening she wove a tapestry purely from her heart's design, rich with symbols she didn't fully understand, but deeply felt. To her surprise, customers began lingering at her stall, drawn not by calculated appeal, but by the authentic energy emanating from her work. Her textiles now told stories that resonated because they came from a place of inner truth. She had found her center, and the marketplace had found her. This tale reflects your own journey. When you cease the exhausting pursuit of external validation and instead cultivate your inner sanctuary, life begins responding to your deepened presence. Your energy field becomes a magnetic home that attracts aligned opportunities and connections. Practice. Sit with your hand over heart and whisper, "I am home here." Let calm become your gravitational pull. Chapter 29. The universe wears your name. Along a winding path through ancient woods, Milton collected fallen leaves, each one seeming oddly familiar. The morning light pierced through branches in patterns that caught his attention, like whispered messages meant only for his eyes. For years he had walked this same route, head down, rushing through life's motions. But today was different. Nature appeared to be speaking directly to him. A red cardinal landed nearby, tilting its head as though waiting for Milton's recognition. The same bird had appeared at his window the day he received news of his mother's illness. and again when an unexpected opportunity arose that allowed him to care for her. Now it watched him with what seemed like knowing eyes before flying to a branch where sunlight illuminated a perfect spider's web, its intricate design matching the sketch Milton had absently drawn in his journal that morning. The universe crafts intimate dialogues with each soul, speaking through synchronicities that feel impossibly personal. These are not random coincidences, but rather precisely choreographed moments of divine communication. Every detail of your experience is infused with meaning, carefully selected to resonate with your unique frequency. Think of how a master artisan works, each piece lovingly crafted with deliberate intention. The universe creates with this same exquisite attention, weaving together moments that echo your deepest thoughts and unexpressed wishes. The signs you encounter are as unique as your fingerprint, chosen specifically for your understanding. When you begin to recognize these personalized touches, you unlock a profound truth. The cosmos knows you intimately. That song playing at the exact moment you needed its message, the book falling open to the perfect page, the chance encounter that shifts your entire trajectory. These are love letters written in the language of your life. Milton began noticing more signs, the numbers on license plates matching significant dates in his life, conversations overheard that seemed to answer questions he'd been pondering, even the shapes of clouds mirroring symbols from his dreams. At first, his logical mind resisted, attempting to dismiss these alignments as mere chance. But as he learned to trust these subtle communications, his world transformed. When faced with decisions, he found guidance in these gentle nudges from the universe. The morning he decided to start his own business, a trail of butterflies, his mother's favorite symbol, led him to a "For Lease" sign on the perfect storefront. The space's dimensions matched the measurements he'd sketched in his planning notebook, down to the inch. This is not coincidence, but consciousness responding to consciousness. The universe delights in showing you how deeply you are known, how tenderly you are guided. Each moment carries the potential for revelation, each experience carefully selected to speak to your soul's particular journey. These cosmic communiques arrive with perfect timing, neither too early nor too late. They appear when your heart is ready to receive their wisdom, when your awareness has expanded enough to grasp their significance. The universe's language of love is always precisely calibrated to your current level of understanding. Like Milton, you are being shown signs of this sacred attention every day. The universe celebrates your uniqueness by crafting experiences that could only be meant for you. Your task is simply to notice, to trust, and to receive these personalized expressions of divine care. Practice. Whenever wonder strikes, quietly respond, "I know that was for me." Recognition completes the circuit of affection. Chapter 30. The Universal Shift. In the heart of an ancient valley, Luna tended her small herb garden each morning. Though others saw only plants, she witnessed the daily miracle of life responding to attention. Once, she had searched endlessly for transformation, believing it lay in grand gestures or dramatic changes. Yet here, among the gentle unfurling of leaves, she discovered a profound truth. Every dawn brought a choice, to greet the day with resistance or flow. Luna learned that each moment offered an invitation to align with the universe's natural abundance. When worry crept in about her herb's thriving, she chose trust instead of control. When impatience stirred about their growth, she breathed acceptance rather than force. Through these small shifts, her garden flourished beyond expectation, teaching her that transformation wasn't a destination but a continuous dance. The power to shape reality flows through your every breath, every thought, every feeling. Like water transforming from ice to vapor, you too possess the ability to shift states of being moment by moment. Your thoughts lay the foundation, crafting the initial blueprint of possibility. Your emotions charge these thoughts with magnetic power, broadcasting your frequency to the universe. Trust opens the channel for divine timing, while surrender allows manifestation to flow unimpeded. Miracles aren't external events. They're the natural result of aligning with your true nature as a creator. Each time you choose love over fear, gratitude over lack, or peace over struggle, you amplify your connection to universal intelligence. This isn't about forcing change, but allowing your natural state of abundance to express itself through you. Luna's second year with her garden revealed deeper wisdom. Rather than seeking perfect conditions, she learned to be the perfect condition. When storms threatened, she stood steady in trust. When drought challenged, she radiated abundance. Her garden responded not just to her actions, but to her state of being. Soon, visitors remarked on the unusual vitality of her plants, not knowing they witnessed Luna's own inner flowering. The universe moves through you as naturally as sunlight through leaves. Your role is not to make things happen, but to allow your inner light to shine consistently. Every choice to align with this truth creates ripples of transformation in your visible world. Ancient practice. Close your eyes nightly, repeating, "I shift by shining." Let sleep weave the affirmation through your dreams. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. As this journey concludes, a subtle yet profound awareness emerges within you. The sky above remains unchanged, yet your perception has transformed entirely. This is the essence of the universal shift, not an external alteration, but an inner awakening to what has always been. Through these, you haven't acquired new abilities. Rather, you've remembered your inherent power as a conscious creator. The magic wasn't hidden in distant realms, but within your own awareness, waiting to be recognized. What appeared as separate lessons have woven themselves into a natural way of being. You now understand that manifestation isn't about reaching toward distant horizons, but embodying your desires in this present moment. Where uncertainty once clouded your vision, clarity now illuminates each step. Those seemingly random coincidences have revealed themselves as intimate conversations between you and the universe. The phrase, "it found you," carries deeper significance now. This encounter with wisdom wasn't chance. It was divine timing aligning with your readiness to remember. You've moved beyond seeking validation from external sources, standing confidently as a conscious participant in creation's endless dance. The true measure of transformation lies not in dramatic external changes, but in your natural ability to write reality from a place of knowing rather than wanting. Each thought you plant carries creative force. Each emotion provides nurturing energy, and every action becomes the blossoming of your unique, universal expression. Your breath now flows with purpose, your gaze holds power, and your presence shapes reality. The shift isn't complete. It's continuously unfolding through your smile, your trust, and your unwavering recognition of the Creator within. You are both the artist and the masterpiece, the writer and the story, forever dancing in this eternal moment of becoming.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.